Oh, I am alive. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, that was I forgot that. I forgot this little button. Good morning and welcome to Touch Base Daily. How are you all? And yeah, I popped on. I said, wait a minute. Oh, don't have my intro. How you guys doing? Welcome to Touch Base Daily. How are you doing today? And there's always something when you're live. I tell you, there's always something. But I am not the only person that has these problems. I look at John Lemon. I look at Joy Reid. I look at the Midas Touch. Everyone has problems at some point in the show when you're doing it live. So it comes with the territory. I know. I don't ever look for perfection any longer. No more. It's just touch. It's just being online here. And that is it. I'm just here to touch base. That's it. That's what the whole purpose. And once it gets too crazy and complicated, I will just walk away from it all. So anyway, Hannah's in the building. Good morning, Hannah. She says, good morning, Ron and Chris. Chris is having a little technical difficulties. So he'll be here shortly. And Touch Base Daily family. And Gwendolyn says, good morning. And then she has a judgmental shake in my head. But we have a non-judgmental space here. So a lot in the news today, and y'all, you know, the main thing that's in the news, and we'll talk about that. I was just on a meeting with my SCORE family. SCORE is a business organization that supports small business owners around the country. And I'm a part of the SCORE that meets. We used to meet in Harlem, but now we meet virtually. And we're looking at the next year for what is happening for our community next year. And we will also talk about the importance of community and how important we are no longer in a democratic nation. And if you are not aware of that, if you have not, those who are listening to this, I know the immediate community already knows that. But if you are listening for the first time, this is your first time here, you may be seeing that we are no longer in the America that you thought you lived in just 10 months ago. And the country has totally changed. And I got bad news. It's going to get only worse. So, but it's what we do with this in this climate. And yeah, so the first thing on the agenda, first I always say good morning to everyone. Oh, there's more people in the building. Elise is in the building. And I'm going to send out some invitations, and we'll all hang out today. And I see Lisa's in the building. She says, morning, everyone. And I'm just, I'm exhausted. To be quite honest, I'm tired. It's been a long week. I've been busy every day since Sunday. Last night, I got an opportunity to photograph one of the candidates running. Cuomo was there in the space, but then he did not stay, which explains, like I say, he could not get my vote, but I was able to. He was here for the board members, and then after that, the regular folks, he was like, "Gone, bye, goodbye." But Swela, I think his name is Swela, or Swelwa. That's what it's Swelwa. And he was there, but I have to say, he stayed to the very end, almost the very end, and shared his thoughts, shared what his positions were, and also mingled with the community and the people, the guests that were there. He mingled with us, and he was very approachable. Thank you, Sliwa. Thank you, Sliwa. And very, very, very nice. I have never met him in person before. I've only seen him on the news or on commercials or on TV. very, very approachable. But I mean, I don't think he'll win this mayor election. I don't think he has that kind of momentum. But yeah, the red beret guy, but very nice, and very respectful. And it was just really nice to see him in an environment and just connecting with people. So there you have it. You have to do your research and on him. Oh yeah, we do not have the same views in a lot of places, in a lot of ways. I definitely agree with that. I do not agree on most of the things that he may be sharing, because obviously he's a Republican. Oh, the doorbell is ringing. Technical difficulties are over for both of us. Come on in. Come in the door, Chris. Come on in.
Good morning. Jesus. You know what?
It's
when
live.
The devil is trying to just, get on
happens.
you, I'm like, I've been sitting here since 10:30 trying to get in. So I you know what it is? It's my own fault. I upgraded my computer yesterday, some software stuff, and whenever you do that, a lot of times it reverts. It changes everything. So like, it would not give my camera access to my computer. I'm just like, what is going on? But I'm here. I'm sorry, my tardiness.
I get it. Look. What brings comfort to me when these moments happen is that, and because I've met Don Lemon's whole team behind the scenes, and I also watch I'm a big fan of Midas Touch and the Bulwark and all these other people, and when they go live, there's always something that happens when you go live. That's just the price of paying when you go live. Now, if you're recording, you can record it. You can keep changing it. You can keep adjusting. You can keep whatever, perfecting it.
Yeah, but even with that, like I had an issue, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, I was recording some stuff, and my normal setup that I have, I haven't changed anything, but sometimes human error. Like I did one recording, it was about 10 minutes long, then realized I never turned my mic on. and then that was one. The other one was only recording the audio, even though I can see the video. So it's just like, you know what? Today's not the day.
But again, we say it all the time. A lot of work goes into behind the scenes. I mean, Adrian was like, "Oh, we got to work on some production stuff." And I was like, I said, sure. You want me production? You want me produce? I mean, I'm open for anybody that wants to be a producer on this platform.
Let them produce. And listen, even producing in the background is hard because you're constantly having to give visual. You're relying on visual cues from the person who's in front of the camera, and then even still, like I do this stuff for other clients, and a lot of times I'm always telling them, please pay attention to the private chat and have it open, because I'm killing them. I'm feeding them information, and it's not easy because they're trying to focus and communicate directly to the camera, but then also having to keep an eye on what's being said in the background or listen, because sometimes they can hear me even though I'm not coming through the screen. So listen, it's a lot. It takes a lot to do these little things that we do here. It takes a lot
to do what we do here. And again, you do it every day. There's always a glitch every day. There's always something. Not to excuse it, but it's the reality of it all.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, I'm watching Don Lemon live all the time, and I know how he has the best producers in the market. Those guys, Charlie, I think it's Charlie, and the other guy, the girl, young lady, and the guy. Those three people are the top in their field as producers. And Don is usually like, okay, do we have the video? Okay. And then they're like, no. It is what it is. It's live.
It's not easy. It's not easy.
Production, being live. I know there's some people out there that are like, oh, well, you should have this done. You should have that done. You could do. I'm like,
and I'm looking, my video's not even looking the greatest today. I don't know what's going on with this thing.
You look good. You look good, buddy.
But it's not looking like it normally. Because I'm looking at myself on the monitor, the actual feed. Like yours looks really clean. Like for whatever reason, I look very not pixelated, but it's not what it normally is. Whatever. We're on.
We're here. We are here, and we are he had to, let's say hello to some more people.
Yes.
I see in here, Mr. Bryson's in the building. I did have my sip. What's up, Ron? What's up, RP fam? What's up, everybody? Happy Throwback Thursday. As y'all may know, that Jimmy Kimmel Live has been suspended. Not suspended. It's been canned.
Well, that's what they're saying. The technical terms. Well, we know that he probably will never come back on the air on ABC. And you know what? I know that this is probably one of the topics you want to talk about today. And I don't know, like I got up this morning and just I don't even know what to think anymore. It's just I don't even have words. I really don't.
We are going into a dark period. And I don't want to be Debbie Downer, but they're just getting started.
You're not.
They're just getting started, and it's going.
He's been publicly calling out for each of these night show comedians to be pulled off the air. He started with Colbert. He got that. He said he wanted Jimmy Kimmel off the air.
Yeah, he said that
he got that. Ago. Now, last night, his social tweet
Farrell.
was that he wanted
Farrell.
After both of them, the last two remaining ones.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and when you have people, when you place people in the government, like the person who's in charge of the FCC, who's going on podcasts and saying that ABC needs to do what it needs to do if they know what's good for them, like publicly threatening these companies, and then these companies, private companies that are kowtowing to him and just giving in. Like, you know what's going to end up happening? These networks are going to have these big conglomerates, and then nobody's going to watch them because you know what? I'm seriously considering just getting rid of ABC and Disney.
Well, ABC is no longer. I'm no longer watching, and I love ABC. I love ABC. I have ABC. I watch ABC News. I've been watching ABC News for decades. ABC, anything that's Disney related, because it's Disney. Disney owns all.
It is Disney. Disney owns everything.
So it's no longer is. They gave in when
George Stephanopoulos.
Yes. When they had that situation and they gave it and paid that settlement. And now because
$16 million.
of ABC and these people settling, now he thinks he can do it. He can just threaten everyone. Now he has a $15 billion judgment against the New York Times. And I said New York Times and who else?
He's suing
Associated
them.
Press.
But no, I think it's just the New York Times. Here's the thing. Yeah, I think it's just the New York Times, but I don't like most people say that he does not have a case. And then here's the thing: the New York Times
he had no case with any of these.
Right, but here's the thing though with New York Times. New York Times doesn't have any other media conglomerate that is behind them, dictating and telling them what to do. They're independent, and they have the courts on their side. Now the question is, and most times when he's challenged, if he's to take it to court, he'll end up just dropping it because he has to produce evidence, and he has no evidence.
Yeah.
So let's just see if New York Times takes them to task. And if they do, that's a huge win for the New York Times and for journalism.
For journalism. And it's
frustrating. It's just so frustrating to see this.
Again, selective outrage.
That part.
Selective outrage. And there's so much going on in the world. There's Gaza.
Can we just dig a little bit deeper into it? Because there's so much more behind this whole Jimmy Kimmel thing. And how Disney and ABC has kind of like taken the knee. What it really is dealing with is not necessarily Disney and ABC. It has to do with the affiliates that own the local markets, because the shows that we see in our areas are only brought to us by the local stations that are run here. And most of those are run by either St. Clair or this other group that they're trying to take over. Now, there is a rule in the within the FCC that any particular news or stations can own more than, I think it's like 39% or 31% of the market share in the US. So like you can have stations that own different stations throughout the US, but it can't total more than either 31 or 39%. This merger that Sinclair is trying to do with this other network, actually, yes, play this. Perfect.
Okay, so here we go. And listen to this.
announced that his late night show was being canceled back in July, the president of the United States, Donald Trump, had a chilling reaction.
Fallon has no talent. Kimmel has no talent. They're next. They're going to be going. I hear they're going to be going. I don't know, but I would imagine because they get, Colbert has better ratings than Kimmel or Fallon. You know that.
They're next. I hear they're going to be going. Well, tonight, an ABC spokesperson confirms that Jimmy Kimmel's late night show has been preempted indefinitely. Now, it comes just hours after a large set of ABC affiliates announced they would refuse to air Kimmel's show. They say because of comments the late night host made on Monday night relating to the motives of the man that shot and killed Charlie Kirk, wrongly suggesting the killer was part of the MAGA movement. He was not. Nexstar, the largest owner of local stations in the country, came out and said it, quote, strongly objects to recent comments made by Kimmel concerning the killing of Charlie Kirk and will replace the show with other programming in its ABC affiliated markets. And if that were the whole story, he said something, it was not correct, the affiliates pushed back, well, then that would be one story. But that, of course, is not the whole story. Okay? Because crucially, just hours before that statement, Trump's handpicked FCC chairman went on a podcast and suggested ABC's broadcast license or affiliates could be at risk if they did not suspend or fire Kimmel, essentially issuing an order saying, and I quote him here, "We can do this the easy way or the hard way." Well, hours later, ABC made the announcement Kimmel would indeed be taken off the air indefinitely. And this is just the latest chapter in Donald Trump's ongoing campaign to crack down on free speech, dominate the media, and essentially render the First Amendment meaningless.
Yeah.
So that is, again, it's these small town, I don't call them, I guess you can call them small town affiliates. They're in these red states.
The airways.
Yeah, they are in the red states, and they're calling the shots on a lot of these, and in this case, they for sure.
Well, no, they control it completely. When you really think about it, it's not about these networks. These networks are selling these shows to these affiliates to play in the local areas. If these local affiliates don't pick it up, then the shows that they're producing, it makes no sense. They can't make money. Yeah. So it's completely dependent on these networks, and they know it, and they're holding these networks hostage now. And because they want these approvals to do these mergers, as Elise said, and actually, Elise should be able to come in here and talk about this because it's so true. It's about the merger approvals and getting on the good side to get these deals done when they're illegal deals because they can't technically own. They're not supposed to own more than, like I said, either 31 or 39% of the market.
Well, speaking of Elise, she's at the door. I think she's there. I think I heard her. I think
Come on in.
There she is. Let's bring her in. Hello, Elise.
Hi. Look fresh off my red eye.
Good morning.
You're back at home. Yes, I see the artwork in the back. That lets me know where you are. The background.
Look, fresh off my red eye. Actually.
Wow.
The commitments in this community.
That's right. And she's gracing our presence with her presence.
Yes. So we do have to. You just have to call a thing a thing.
Yes.
In each one of these cases,
there's another person. There's the other one. There's the other one. There she is. The birthday girl from yesterday.
Yeah.
In each one of these cases of cancellations, those networks have each been waiting for FCC approval for mergers. Nexstar, I think it's called Nexstar, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
They're waiting for because they want to have a larger percentage, so they need that for their merger. But they
which
also
is illegal.
The FCC. All of these things are that they need these approvals. So that's really what's behind it. So it's really blackmail.
Mm-hmm.
This is all blackmail. My husband's in the background talking about Disney.
Now, you can hear him. We don't ever hear your husband in the background shouting it out.
But this time he shouted this one out. And so each one of them, that's what it is. I mean, it's all about the money, right? Everything is money. FC, and then because they control the airways, They control the FCC. I mean, we have to think about what this regime controls. They control everything. They control FCC, which controls the media. So any media outlet that needs anything, they're threatening them not to approve their mergers. The NetStart, that part requires a change in the rules and the merger.
Yes.
Right? And the ABC, they already, all of them are all in this thing. The parent group that bought out that part, that was the one that wanted the merger. So that now when people talk about what BET is not doing, that's that parent company. That's that one that was, and they said their name in all of this too, because that's the one that's calling for Jimmy Kimmel to pay this money out. That's the same. They company.
Wanted to do a public apology.
He didn't say anything about.
He didn't say anything.
Exactly.
What they were doing. And then why doesn't Nancy Mace have to apologize for coming straight out the bat?
Even better, why doesn't that Fox host have to apologize for saying that he wanted to unalive homeless people?
Why does he still have a job?
That's right.
That part.
Anyone else would have lost their job. You say the least little thing. I mean, look at the number of people in the last week who have lost their jobs.
Yes.
They lost straight out. Hey, even in the case of the one from the Washington Post, all she did was write his quote.
Quote it. Simple quote.
Direct quote. And they fired her. And even though she was an opinion writer. But all of these networks and companies, that because they have all these mergers on the line, this is all about billionaires and more money. All these mergers are on the line. The FCC, which is controlled by them now, the guy that you got the head of the FCC on a podcast, and I met that man, Benny Johnson. I met him. That's the one I met down in front of the White House and told him he was a racist liar to his face. When he was trying to get some, clickbait. And that black lady said, "All they're doing," I said, "No." Every time he looked at me, I said, "You're a racist liar. You're a racist liar." That's all. Now you can play that all day long if you want to. But and I met him because he had just come out of the White House. So, but all of this, that's really the behind all of these things, because they have the power, they have a leverage over all of these things. And what you all know how I am. I know people keep talking about boycotts and all this stuff. Stop whatever. If you have subscription, cancel them all. I'm telling my daughter, anything she has needs to be canceled. I don't care if it is Disney. You're going to be watching whatever streams free across the bottom of your TV. Whatever's in that cable, whatever that is, because at some point the people have to do something, or we're going to have to do like this one white woman, this video I saw, this white woman, someone posted. She said, you have to do something a little different than 1993. Don't wait too late to leave. You may have to get out now.
Yeah. Gwendolyn, welcome aboard.
Morning. Good
Love
morning.
The glasses. Love the glasses.
Yes, and it matches the shirt exactly.
You know what? My shirt says, all things in balance. Sometimes I have to remind myself. So, I had a great day yesterday. Shout out to everybody.
Yeah, she had a party.
Y'all made this woman cry. I was like,
I cried a lot.
She was crying. I said, "Oh goodness, they got to you, girl. They got to you."
I cried a lot yesterday, and then I got up this morning, and today was my 6 minutes. I mistakenly did an hour, and I was in tears again, obviously for other reasons, right? And so I thought to myself, I clearly had to do a mindfulness exercise as well as some exercise, and I thought to myself, I was like, I shouldn't be here. Like we should not be at this place where we are clearly seeing the Constitution get shredded. We're seeing free speech just be dismantled. Like, again, Texas here, we have policies that are asking people to turn people in if women are looking for any kind of reproductive health care, is how I'm going to phrase it, because it is reproductive health care. We are back to seeing strange fruit in trees. Is like, my heart was just heavy this morning.
Yes, dear.
Extremely right? And so in moments like this, and if you're a Black person living in this world right now, keeping ourselves together is a whole job every single day. Because I think, no, I'm not saying I think, I believe we are such a forgiving people. Like when people talk about the retaliation that black folks could do, we would have burned this shit down a long time ago.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, like we are so forgiving and so understanding despite all of what we have gone through and continue to endure. Right? Now, I'm like Miss Elise. I don't watch a lot of network TV. I don't. It's not where we thrive. And you wonder why I watch Willy Wonka and The Wiz every morning. I don't thrive there, but to see Jimmy Kimmel as well as Colbert, and we know that there are others coming, like to see this real-time dismantling of our freedom of speech. I don't believe in half of the hate speech that is spewed by other people who don't look like me, but they have every right to put that stuff out.
Yes.
That's their right. But I keep thinking, what if? I should say what if. It's more of a when. When we get to the place where they're asking people right now that if a teacher or someone says something that you don't agree with, you should turn them in. Like, why would you be that person?
Right.
Because if you take it away from Run Trust, they're coming after you next, kid. They're coming after you next. Like, it doesn't work out for any of us to be in this place. And I keep thinking to myself, at what point do those who consider themselves, and I'm going to use religion, to be Christian and all this other whatnot, at what point do you say, wow, this looks really wrong? Like, if I go back to my Sunday school lessons, this looks really wrong. Like, at what point do you see that? But if you're under the umbrella of privilege, you may never see it.
Whatever that privilege may be.
I think they will see. They're going to feel it.
They're going to feel it.
And Gwendolyn, you have said this before. It's going to take them to actually feel it. It's going to take them to see where their benefits are cut off. Yeah. Where they understand that, oh, I was getting that. My children are getting that. And now they're no longer getting it. I had all 6 of my kids on SSI, and now they've taken them off. Yeah. Because no, you're not going to have all of them on that. We're not going to pay for that. So I think they're going to feel it. But I also
the farmers are feeling it.
The pharmacy?
The farmers.
The farmers. Oh, yeah, those farmers.
And some of them are unaliving themselves because they are feeling it really bad.
Well, that one farmer said he's soybeans farmer.
Yes.
They had started having problems the first time.
Yes.
So this year he said he's gotten 0 orders from China because China started getting their things from Brazil.
Because they got Brazil.
And so, some of these wanting to go after certain countries would be because they're taking that business too. But you are responsible for this. You're responsible for saying you're going to charge them more to do all these things. And I think that until if we never, as people who are in the same, that are not a part of the 1%, and that's everybody, I don't care who you are, if you're not part of that 1%, if we don't come together as a group of people,
that's right,
then you can say, hey, there's no hope for that. And even if we don't come together as a group of Black people, and a strong enough force, that's the things that are going to happen. And you have people who are out here in some extremist groups that are asking for permission to go and shoot people in their houses if they don't agree with what this person says. And so we can't take that with a grain of salt. We can't sit here and say, oh, that's not going to happen, because then we don't remember history. We don't remember history. You cannot forget that the people in Germany did not have rights for over 10 years. Because of the Hitler and his regime, which is very much like the regime that they're establishing here, where the only people that can say hate speech is them. And then the people on the other side can't even state facts. They're not even saying hateful things. They're just stating facts. So they're getting consequence for facts, not for hate, but merely for facts. And the other side is calling you everything but the name that your parent gave you.
Right.
And they get away with it. And no one, and because this small extreme, and then people have to realize this is not the majority of people, but it's an extremist group that has control. Even when Hitler started, it wasn't the majority of people, but it was the extremist group. And then and the part that comes in are the 80+ million people who did not vote, and the other people who did whatever they did, right?
Yes.
Those parts that come in are a part of the whole issue as well. And so when you look at those things and those people not understanding that your survival is connected to my survival.
Yes.
There's no
We're in this together.
If you are anything other than a billionaire, a rich, quote unquote, heterosexual, quote unquote, Christian man, white man, you are in the same bucket I am. That goes for white women, and anyone else in this country. You're not a part of that 1%. You're in that bucket. I don't care how much money you have. And then yes, people go, oh, this class, but this is race and class.
That's right.
And understanding that I don't care how much you have as a Black person, you're not gonna be a part of their group. I don't care if you got behind them you got $B. I don't care because they don't care.
Hey, Chris.
Can we go back to this Charlie thing? Because part of the stipulation that these networks were doing, I believe tomorrow, one of the markets are going to be running a Charlie tribute.
Right.
The fact that they are celebrating this man, you've got kids that are getting unalived in school on a daily on a consistent basis. Where is let's have some type of salute to these children? Let's have some public conversations about this. You want to glorify a man who has been hateful. I saw one congressman saying that if he lived in biblical times, he would be the 13th disciple. Like, what the hell are you guys talking about?
People are crazy. These people have
Y'all
lost
have
their
lost
minds.
your fucking not lost their mind. They have lost their effing minds. There's no way to sugarcoat any of this stuff. These people are they're idolizing and putting people up on a pedestal that do not need to be uplifted. There was nothing.
Yeah.
Have you seen some of the art where they have him? They have several famous people in their party, and then they have him with Jesus. Jesus he's equated with Jesus on there. It's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
I have something else I wanted to share with you guys.
Let's really address the biblical time. If this man was back in biblical times, he would have killed Jesus.
Oh, he would have killed Jesus.
Very much
absolutely.
Unalived him.
Jesus. He would have killed him. He would never been
unalived. Yes.
He would have unalived Jesus.
Unalived.
Ron's not trying to get taken down.
He would have unalived Jesus. He definitely would have.
It's crazy.
Let's be real. He opposes everything that Jesus stood for.
Yeah, everything.
Yes.
But
and we have to say that to people who listen to this, who are Christian. Go and read the red words. This man
but they don't care about the red letters. They don't care about the red words. They don't care.
Because
anyway, here's Attorney Grump. Attorney Grump said the administration just canceled 22 projects meant to protect Black communities from toxic pollution, raw sewage, and flooding. From Cancer Alley to Laundy's County, families are left to suffer. This is environmental racism. Our brothers and sisters deserve protection, not neglect. And then the link is in his bio.
And you know where that comes from, right? So that's taking away the EPA rules.
Yes.
So that these AI facilities can be built.
Mm-hmm.
The one down in the Memphis area, that's the one that's been polluting the air with methane, where they've been burning methane gas, and the people are having respiratory problems.
And there's another place that they're losing. They don't have water. They don't have water
because those AI facilities, that one that Elon that Muskrat has down there has like 30 plus of these methane tanks that are burning, and the AI facilities all take up water. They all use a lot of water. So any community, the people are losing water because of those facilities, and they don't care. They're taking all of those EPA rules off because the rich people want the billionaires want them off so they can do whatever they want to do. Yep. That's why those rules are off there. Why they don't care anymore. Aaron Brockovich is not going to roll in to save us on this one.
She's not coming. She's not. She can't be there.
Facts,
And then I'm gonna
facts,
listen that
facts.
she did.
I'm sorry, time out. That was a gangster line, Miss Elise. Like, seriously.
That was gangster.
And everyone in this community should know exactly what she meant when she said that.
She ain't coming back. She's not coming.
She ain't coming.
But
She's
I
not
mean,
coming.
this is where we are, and again, this is. But this is what blows my mind about the Black people that are following these fools.
These Black churches that are doing this,
Yes.
like having prayer vigils for him. Like, what the fuck?
They were rocking and wailing for Kirk. This Black church.
And it's this. It was something I was listening to, and how they. And there was a man on this one, and he was saying what they do, what the oppressor does, and what he uses, what they use. They use schools and churches.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
How did they control what until Nat Turner really started reading that book?
That's right.
They were using him to keep his fellow enslaved people under control. But then he started reading the rest of the words, and he got too much information. So he was no longer effective for them, and he decided he wasn't supposed to be enslaved like that. So they use the churches for that purpose. And I always, I said this before, and I'll say it again. And I know I even have to think about it myself. Why? If you look at people, some of the most committed people to Christianity are Black people.
Yes.
And what we have to realize, we're committed to the Christianity that came out of slavery, enslavement.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You're not committed to the Christianity if we're talking about Jesus, but we're committed to that Christianity that came out of slavery. Those things that told us how to behave and what to do. And when they use it, that's exactly what they're talking about. And I guess at some point, I never went to the book of the Museum of the Bible because it was established by Hobby Lobby, which is a part of their connection too.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
But they do have the slave Bible in Hobby Lobby, where they took out certain books of the Bible that referred to enslaving your fellow man was not the right thing to do. And so the part of it is when you have people, that's why some of the pastors, I pray for these pastors that I follow, because they don't bite their tongue. They're out here saying, oh, well, if I don't say to my people that this is the case, and to stop following these people who are taking you down the road to hell.
It's
all right. So that's the thing that's happening. And so you sit there, someone who has talked about you, who said that everything that helped you survive as people, your civil rights, was a mistake. He's the same person that's that same group that believed that it was a mistake that any of us got the right to vote. So that's part, and we know how much he attacked Black women. Like I said yesterday, did a Black woman scorn him or something? What did she turn him away, or what? I don't know what his fixation is about Black women. Although I do know. Because a part of it is because she is so educated.
That's the part.
And she shows up at the polls.
Jealous.
Voting in her own best interest. She's a threat. Mm-hmm. And every time you listen, even when you listen to this FCC guy, his thing with Kimmel was, well, he's not that good. He's not that. What? Every one of them talks about people's intellect.
Mm-hmm. And they're the dumbest people in the room.
Projection.
And then people who are listening to them are. And for Black people who are following this, when they get their assignment to the camp, maybe they'll wake up. Because it's going to take something different from that. And then these Black pastors,
good luck to them, because I will not be going there with them.
Oh, child, I'm not going. I'm not going there. I just have to, either I'm out of here, they're going to just have to shoot me or something. We're not making it there. But you also have to look at the prosperity preachers in the Black community.
Mm-hmm.
If they're not spewing that stuff and trying to have cry over him, they're not saying anything. And we know who those people are. Whole families of them. Whole families. Some of them out in Texas. Saying nothing. And walking around here.
Selling tickets to the daughter's wedding. Yeah, some of them are in Texas. You are correct.
Selling tickets to weddings and having big old gatherings for Black women. You gather me, get my money, but you don't defend me. You're not out here fighting for me. But you sure out here sucking me dry. And that's what we have got to, as a Black community, understand that religion, the Bible, and all that stuff has been weaponized from forever. That was the weapon they used. The Christian Crusades, that's a weapon they have used. That's the weapon they used to enslave us, our ancestors.
And all
so
the people of the planet.
With me and my commitment and all that, my thing is like, I'm just a spiritual person. I can no longer say that I am following their rhetoric, because so many of our Black churches are also connected to that Southern Christian group that's so connected and entangled with these people. So they don't like you; they just like your money.
That part.
Yep.
So that's our biggest problem. And I like the fact that you have those bold pastors, like I said, the one out of Alpha Street, Pastor Jamal Bryan. You have the Pastor Mike up in Harlem. There's every Sunday, those people are out there saying what they need to say from the pulpit to tell their people.
Yes,
to tell
educate.
Us.
Yes.
Because we need to be educated. And we all know that the critical piece of the civil rights movement came from where? Within the Black church.
Yes. Here's something I want to toss into, and this is Obama finally speaks out yesterday, and addressing the Kirk crazy. Sorry, I'm not using crazy anymore. Get out of my conversation. Charlie Kirk situation. Okay, here we go.
Speaking of the events of the world, you are in Pennsylvania, as you know, earlier this year. The governor's mansion, the subject of an arson attack, the tragedy in Minnesota back in June, the horrific murder in Utah of a conservative activist. Are we at an inflection point in our country? Where are we today?
Well, we are certainly at an inflection point, not just around political violence, but there are a host of larger trends that we have to be concerned about. I think it is important for us at the outset to acknowledge that political violence is not new. It has happened at certain periods in our history. But it is something that it is anathema to what it means to be a democratic country. And regardless of where you are on the political spectrum, what happened to Charlie Kirk was horrific and a tragedy. What happened, as you mentioned, to the state legislators in Minnesota, that is horrific. It is a tragedy. And there are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The central premise of our democratic system is that we have to be able to disagree and have sometimes really contentious debates without resort to violence. And when it happens to some, but even if you think they're quote unquote on the other side of the argument, that's a threat to all of us. And we have to be clear and forthright in condemning it. Now, that doesn't mean that we can't have a debate about the ideas that people who were victims of political violence were promoting. And so I've noticed that there's been some confusion, I think, around this lately. And frankly, coming from the White House and some of the other positions of authority that suggest, even before we had determined who the perpetrator of this evil act was, that somehow we're going to identify an enemy. We're going to suggest that somehow that enemy was at fault, and we are then going to use that as a rationale for trying to silence discussion around.
What's so fabulous about these is that.
So, I mean, he goes on, and he goes into the whole thing of how we should be looking at the Charlie Kirk, but his whole discussion is that he didn't have this situation in his White House, and the stoking of division from this White House that we have now today, and but I this is probably the last time I'm going to talk about Kirk, because I am exhausted with the topic, because of all of the people that are yielding to this story. It is mind-boggling to me that how so many people that were outrageous about so many other things are not outrage about losing their freedom of speech and losing their rights, their constitutional rights, because of an incident that happened.
Right.
You know, it's to me, it's just mind-boggling. And again, looking at so many of the people that look like us also following this guy.
Right. But that, that's, go ahead, Gwendolyn.
No, I'll wait.
Their big thing, his big thing was like how he could recruit young people. And you know what I told y'all? I told those people at my husband's 80th birthday party. Young people gonna take us to hell. But they recruited young black people. They've recruited young black men.
Yes.
And they'll connect with the misogynistic side. Mm-hmm. See, they connect different components of it, right? May not be the whole part, but they'll connect with that particular parts of it, right? And so when you look at it and break it apart, you start to analyze, why are these people doing that? And then the part when he says, will you say out loud that black women in particular are taking the jobs from white people? So they find that over 300,000 of them lost their jobs. Mm. Because now their thought is we can go and replace, but you don't even have the skills or the knowledge to do what they were doing, because you didn't have a clue. And so when you look at that part and we look at how they're galvanizing all of this stuff, and it's important, because you got to understand this. In 2016, when he was elected then and took over in 2017, he had people who were guardrails. People who would take stuff out so he didn't see it, and so he didn't do all of that. This time they intentionally, the Heritage Foundation ensured that there were no guardrails. Mm-hmm. So there's no voices of reason in there, period. No voices of reason that's there. And I believe when Chris was talking, the one, I think it's the Net Star that has those ABC affiliates that are going to be doing this whole thing tomorrow night.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be doing that whole thing tomorrow night. And I wanted to also mention that as I was listening to Obama, her name is was Melissa Hortman, mm-hmm. Not the Democratic state politician. Her name was Melissa Hortman.
Her and her husband.
I thought he knew the man's name from the recent incident, but you didn't call her by her name. Mm. And even as we speak at public people speaking, they need to say her name as well, because there was no compassion or empathy.
At all.
Some of these politicians, some of those Republican politicians were celebrating that.
Celebrating.
Yes.
Yeah.
They did.
We were talking about the people who were okay that Dylan Roof was taking the Burger Kings after he killed 9 Black people.
Yeah, that's right. He went and they took him to Burger King. The police officers took him to Burger. Yep.
There was no 3 days of mourning for her. There was no lowering of flags. There was no one going to her funeral. Nothing. Nothing.
The only person that showed up at the funeral was Biden.
That's right.
He showed up. Even after that was after they found out he was sick, whatever.
And she was an elected official. This other guy was not.
Right.
He was a social media influencer, just like the rest of us on here.
And that's the thing is like, because he pushed their narrative.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Which is the white bros, which is what some of them call themselves.
And the billionaires. The billionaires realized, the Republican or the mega billionaires realized that he could be used as a tool to recruit young people. So they sponsored and financed him. There's a whole.
But the most important part is the money, right?
Yeah, it's the money.
Yeah.
Four families that give his Turning Points $92 million.
Yeah, but
it said that $92 million and it's 4 families. One of them is that Koch family. I looked up everything that the Koch brothers own and told my husband, you cannot bring Dixie products in my house.
Well, listen, here's another point to this.
You get somebody else, but you can't.
Laura Loomer, days before this whole thing with the ban, she wrote a scathing social media post about him and how he's not aligning with the Orange Man and was denouncing him because they weren't seeing eye to eye.
So
but there was also Candace Owens. If I may, Candace Owens. I mean, not that we love Candace Owens, but she's totally devastated of how. I mean, they were supposed to be good friends, she and Kirk, and but what she's saying is that the Trump administration, even though they show all this love and caring for him now because it fits their narrative, she goes, some of them did not want him. They did not want him to. They were upset with him because of the way he was not doing something. They wanted him to be more radical, and he wasn't doing it. If you can believe that. And they were threatening, and she felt she mentions on her platform that she thought they were going to try to do something bad to him then. So
they may have. You may have radicalized, because a part of the narrative about this 22-year-old is that he didn't believe he was radical enough. That was a part of the narrative and part of that conversation, right? So when you look at him and Candace and her stuff and her, her husband, all of that, they get paid by all of these billionaires as well. And what he had was, he knew that this grift that he had could generate money.
That's right.
And so all of them are grifters. Like all of this is about getting money, and they find these things, and hate speech gets money. Like Vance was speaking a totally different way until Heritage Foundation said, come on over here. Peter Thiel said, this is the place we need to be. And then he changed his tone.
Can we talk about Vance for a quick second?
You can. And then we're going to close
there
out.
There has never, ever been a politician, a vice president that would go in and take over this man's podcast and spew what he is spewing. Like, sir, you have a job and you're not even doing that.
Well, that's what Candace was upset about. She said that she realized that maybe her light bulb is coming on. Who knows what her motives are?
No, don't try that. Don't do it.
Maybe.
No. We're not gonna give her the benefit of that.
No, but she is definitely saying that these people are vipers and they're all kinds of. She's giving them some harsh words because she's very connected to. She was connected to Kirk, Mr. Kirk, and she was concerned that how dare you. His man has not even been buried yet, and you are already trying to do his TV show. The other one's trying to do something, and so it's a lot of mess going on in the MAGA world.
So I found my words. I found them because I was trying to be gracious.
Come on now with it.
Thank you.
Found them.
I'm really,
You found them.
yes, I really am trying, but really not. So I do believe there's a lot of death grifting, which we see just with the average person, right? There's a lot of death grifting that they are taking this moment. They are making the most of it, with the way that they are erasing our freedom of speech and all the things, getting the money. They're doing all the things to milk this to the nth degree. And yes, they're in their faction, which is so bizarre. It is, but it's not. Even with like in the Democratic Party, clearly we all don't agree, right? In any party, the Black community, Hispanics, we are all individuals, but there are some places where we do align. But on that other side, if you're not far enough, then there's fighting and stuff. But when I think about the Black people, because you were asking that, like, how are these young Black people believing and grabbing into this? I go back to, they are under this false umbrella of privilege. They have never had to struggle. They haven't, right? Like for where I am, again, my mother picked a cotton before she went to school, right? I have other friends whose parents were sharecroppers, right? So we are not too far removed. The further you get away from it, the less you are aware of it. And if you don't even teach it in your household, they will never know. So all they know is going to school with other people and doing the things. And now they're seeing these kids who have no problem putting really offensive things on their shirt and making pictures and posting down here flags that are not allowed to be, shared. They're doing a lot of stuff. They're like, why is this happening? Like, how is this happening? Or I was hanging out with Billy, but now Billy is trying to like do some really awful things to me. They've never had to struggle for anything. So they're under this false idea of privilege. And we talked about gaming yesterday. The messages in some of these games, so misogynistic. It is like ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. It's always been that way.
Young Black men say, women have had the choice, we've allowed them the space to vote and to do this and to do that. Who told you that you gave me some rights, right? There is this false idea that, again, if I do all of these things, I could be like that guy. You will never be that guy. You will never be part of that crowd. You can shuck and jive and do all the things that you can do, and it will never be enough. You can change your wife out. You can do all the things. It's not going to be enough. That's just not part of how this program is written.
Right.
And until they get knocked in the face, you don't get it. We see it all the time with football players, that they can go out and get a nice car and oops, I got stopped. Why? Well, you're a Black man driving this really nice vehicle.
Right.
Seriously? That's why you stopped me? Yeah, bro. Right. That has not changed. But like that castle, that crystal castle, that glass house, it's going to need a few more holes, a few more rocks to be thrown through it before they pick it up. They're not getting it just yet. It has not hit them yet. I don't know when it's going to hit them, but and like Candace Owens, we know that racism, hate sells. That white chick who made mad money off of talking and throwing racial slurs at a little boy who she calls a man. Yeah, got mad dollars for that. We know it sells. You have choices. You can either choose to live in my opinion, a really good life and be a good human and go to a happy place, or you gonna sell your soul for a couple of dollars and then, have permanent hot flashes. I don't know, but you get to choose.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to also
add to that with how they do it is that if you remember now, they pulled in all of these well-known Black rappers, which got, the young males involved in it, right? Lil Wayne and Ice Cube and all these people. And then, Snoop come out there, had talked so bad about everybody, and then he the one shucking and jiving. He one up there, the one tap dancing. And my thing is all of that. He can't keep
himself out of it.
Huh?
Disgusting.
He can't keep himself out of it because he keeps stepping into it.
Well, he keeps stepping into it all the time to get into the political fray of things that aren't protective of us as people.
That you don't know anything about.
Little money and you sitting up there puffing and pass by, they're gonna come get you too while you're puffing. So yeah, I mean that's a part of how they recruit them. Listen to the types of. I was having a conversation with one of the couple in the art world out there in LA, and we were talking about how they use the music and the shows and all of that stuff to do this. We got to understand how the mechanism, how the mind control, how social media, that all of that social media stuff that they allow out there. Mm-hmm. All those things that they may say your thing doesn't follow community guidelines, but something that's really crazy, they don't even tag that stuff.
Be careful with TikTok.
Yeah.
It's not on my phone. I canceled my stuff in January. And I can see what's coming. So
yeah, it's about to happen.
And
TikTok is about to be
last year.
Social media platform for the government, right? All of that stuff, but it's all that indoctrination. I keep having to continue
Larry Ellison.
Say, it's the grooming that they've been doing. They've been grooming them forever. And I don't know if you all saw the little clip. There was a clip of a young white boy. Look like he may have been about 12. Go, we love you. And I say, wait, but we love you. He's 12. So you see how young, it's like, what it made me think about was when they used to take their children to watch the lynchings.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what they used to do.
Oh my God, Mr. Luce had the exact same thought.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of, because they were out there with their parents cheering and laughing and watching them do all manner of evil.
Yep.
And some of those people, and Gwendolyn said it the other day, are here. They're still here. They were the children watching and celebrating the lynching. They were the children out there with their parents protesting Black children getting into their school. They're still here. The reason they want to try to erase history is because they are history. They are part of it. They were present. They had, is it the football, whoever that is down in Texas, where he said, he just happened to be there and his picture was in it. They were there.
Jerry Jones.
Yes, Jerry Jones was there. He participated in that.
And screaming and yelling, probably all the N-words and everything. But this one last thing is,
and I have something for you before on what you mentioned, the thing that you went to last night. I want to share with you, Ron.
Okay, and we have here. This was someone posted this. Says they were suicide, and Trey Reed, a 21-year-old Delta State University student, was found hanging from a tree on a campus this week in Mississippi. He was beaten and bruised. So some are saying, police say no foul play suspected. We know that's probably not true, and are calling it a suicide. 36-year-old Corey Zucatis was also found hanging from a tree in Mississippi this week. We did. So that's 2 in 1 week. No reports of foul play. Black men are not hanging themselves from trees. These are lynchings. Where is the police? Where is the public outrage? So he beat the crap out of himself, then hung himself.
Well, I didn't. So that second young man, I didn't read that they thought it was a suicide. I did not read that report. I read it. They were actually looking into that one as being some sort of death something. So I didn't read that. And the thing about the news, and I do want to say this, everybody has a cell phone. Okay. And on your cell phone is this thing called internet and something called AI. You can ask it to give you really good, reliable sources before you go into a place of, I'm going to share XYZ, because some of this is just kind of funny, right? Like you get a little bit here and a little bit there, and people again will death grift. Let that be the word of the week. They will take something just for clickbaits. These are people's family members. So I do believe in sharing the news. Do it so with compassion and empathy and respect. If what you're sharing isn't quite valid and you can't say for sure it's real, I would not share that.
Don't post it.
You know what I'm saying? Like don't post that. Right. But Black people, I don't think that we do that in regards to like ending it all. Like that's not what we do. And I thought about what Mr. Lee said, and I'm going to use it, picnics, for that very reason. That's what they do. That's their history.
That's what they do.
You pick one and then you go have a feast while things are happening. We don't have that history. That's not what we do.
Absolutely. And it's not like these are the most recent ones. But there have been ones over time, and they still had those truck drivers that were Black truck drivers who were missing. We don't know what happened to them either. So it's things where they've been finding Black men hanging from trees over a period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't doubt that there'll be some kind of escalation in all of that. But they're, for them to immediately come out with that. But before they even had the preliminary report from the coroner, you had the black officer standing up there saying that there was no foul play. You didn't even have a preliminary report, sir. And so, yeah.
Well, I mean, this is how they are operating now in this Justice Department in this country. They're going out there and putting out narratives before they have any evidence whatsoever. And then when the facts do come out, it's, oh, well, they were a good person or this and that, like to make it seem as though it's not as big a deal as it was. And then just move on to the next thing because it's not really important. It doesn't fit our narrative, so we're not going to really talk about it.
Right. Which is why they work so hard to try to backpedal on what happened with the guy, the 22-year-old. And, oh, well, wait a minute, we got to find something. And then on the bullets, how do we know that anything was on those bullets? We don't know that.
Right. Messaging, it was like, are those real text messages?
That's why I really love Don Lemon when he was taking Nancy Mace to task.
Oh, he did, yes, sir. He took her. Yes, he did.
Because he said, there's no evidence of that. There were memes.
No evidence.
There were things from games. You don't know that. We don't know what that meant. And he pushed her and pushed her. She got frustrated, of course. And she goes through her whole thing.
Did you see afterwards?
Passionate and empathetic, but he did what he needed to do. He did what people, because he's free, he can do that. Yeah. And that's the best thing that freedom did for him was like, let him be able to push them like that. But what I wanted to share with Ron, because you were talking about Curtis Leewald.
Yes.
That's correct. He used to have a group called the Guardian Angels.
The Guardian Angels here in New York City.
So even though he made
they spread across the country, right?
Nice and kind. They were here in DC at one point in time. Something happened to him. I don't know, some kind of crime or whatever. But he was switching. He was like, oh, I'm gonna be a Republican now. You can look it up back in 2007 because I looked it up while you were talking. Because I said there was something I knew about him. So he could smile and be charismatic and all that kind of stuff because that's what they used to do, but not to be trusted.
Oh, definitely not.
Just look at the background and of how he switched, why he switched, why he decided what he was doing, something related to crimes. But they used to be here in DC. We had the Guardian Angels. We had the Nation of Islam used to be in this.
I think the Guardian Angels are still in DC because when they did a taping on one of the platforms, they interviewed some of the Guardian Angels in DC. They
probably came down here, but they're not here like that.
Okay.
They're not. I can tell you that. They used to be on the buses and stuff, but they used to do a lot of stuff. That was when DC was DC. I'm telling you. People talk about Duck. I would take my kids for my husband and I take our kids for a walk at night. There were women dressed in bikinis and leotards on the street.
Wow.
Selling their wares.
It
was all
selling their merchandise.
That was back in the day, right? It didn't have like all of the things they had a grip on where you had methadone clinics all over the place. That grip is not here like that anymore. And so they didn't have the same effect. They didn't have the same need for that here. If they're showing up now, they're just showing up because other people are showing up. That's why they're showing up now. But, I just say, with all that we just need to make sure we breathe.
Breathe.
We have to make sure we breathe and through all of this, make sure that we stay grounded. Make sure that whoever comes into our atmosphere and talk crazy, that we push back and let them know that no, and help them, give them something to think about, because that's what needs to happen. Look, you want to talk to me? I don't care who you are. I will have that conversation. And I will be calm while I have it, but I'm going to tell you what the facts are. And I think we have to start remembering that. If we start thinking, if we start feeling too much like it's nothing we can do, and we start feeling the hopelessness that the whole intent of this rapid fire stuff that they're doing is for people to feel hopeless and defenseless. And give up and not unify. Yep. So they have to keep up the strife. This whole thing with this man has little to do with him in a way, but more with keeping up tension and division and increasing that division, so that the people who are going to pay a price just as much as we will don't understand that they're the puppets being used in all of this, because you will pay a price when you think that this is about y'all because you look like him, but you don't have a window or a pot. And yeah, if you Southern, you know what I mean.
Is she gonna finish that statement?
Oh, you want me to finish it? If you don't
finish it.
You don't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. And they know a lot of them don't. Some of them, as they say, some of them got big old flags out in front of their house, and their house still falling down the same way it was in 2016 when he was here the first time. And it's not going to get any better because they're taking everything from you. Nope. So until people understand that, until you can galvanize people, which is what their biggest fear is, and we all know Fred Hampton got killed for it, because he was galvanizing people. And you have some people who are also working and they're starting to come together in diverse groups of people, because there are people from different places that are understanding that they are in the same box. Mm-hmm. But we have got to make sure that we breathe. Look, I could figure out how to ship my artwork someplace else and be set up in another country with my artwork and my family.
You can join me in South Africa.
You know what I'm saying? But it just goes like what I'll say is this, and people are like, oh, people, you want to scare people or whatever. While you're breathing, I want you to think about them threatening to take American citizens' passports.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't like what they're saying.
That's on the docket. Yep. It's on the docket.
They're thinking about that, right?
Yes, they are.
And I want you to go back to that book that I told you all to read. Parable of the Sower and Parable of the Talent. The people who could escape, escaped. Those that could not, they closed those borders off and they couldn't get out. You couldn't fly out. You couldn't do all this. This is that story.
Yes, it is.
We're headed there.
Yes, we are.
And if people don't come together and become the power really rests in the majority of the people who are not like this. Yeah. And we are sitting here, and I have to say we, because I'm a part of that. I'm not sitting. I'm using my voice as much as I can and going out and showing people what's happening in my city. But until we understand that we are the majority and we could shut this entire country down today, until people understand that it doesn't matter what ABC does or NBC does or what any of them say. If the millions of people understand their power, that you are the power, you control that, because their bottom line is money. If you don't do anything for a few days that generates their money and they start to lose money, and I guarantee you stocks will fall on Wall Street. It won't happen until we understand that we got to do it. And there are no allies that's going to come over here and save us, y'all.
No one.
Nope. We went over there to help save them. We went to France to help save them. There's no one coming over here. Canada and Mexico not going to come over here and help us.
We are the help that
we've alienated ourselves. Yes.
And so understand, nobody gonna take any ships and nothing coming over this way. You either gonna have to step up or get out. One or the other. You're gonna have to do something. But it has to be a massive thing, and it cannot be broadcast on these airways.
No.
People with Zooms, let's see, Zooming. We got to Zoom and go brunch. We got to do those kind of things. We got to do some things. You know what I'm saying? Where they're not looking for us.
Elisa said go brunch.
She did say go brunch.
They're not looking for us. They're not looking for us over there.
That's right.
And that's what happened. Those things that happened and got us to where we are, and to have the rights where our children and my granddaughters, one of them, they don't understand the struggle because of those things that those people fought and died for. They didn't do those in open. They did those things in closed spaces.
That's right.
And then when they came out, everybody was shocked. And they were able to make some things happen. Until we understand our power, and I've been saying this to my husband, until the people in this country shuts this country down, they will not do anything. Until you cut if people do what they need to do, there will not be a bus, a plane, or train moving in this entire country. No freight, no nothing. Nothing happening in this entire country.
Yep.
If we galvanize, even those people in media, the Robin Williams, Robin Roberts, and all of that, y'all just don't show up.
That part.
You take the day off too.
People in the broadcast booth behind the scenes don't show up.
But could you imagine the people that are really serious about journalism and doing the right thing in media all decided to pick a day. It's like you just said, in secret, go on some Zoom, go somewhere and say, you know what? We're just not showing up for one day. We're just gonna sit home and no talent would be on TV. Nothing.
Let the billionaires do what they think that they can do. They don't do shit. They just sit there and collect money.
We have the power.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, guys, I'm going to end it here. And as always, I always like these conversations with you guys. It's always enlightening. Always gives me another perspective, and I love it. And guys in the neighborhood, make sure you hit the likes and the subscribe and share if this is beneficial to you, if in this community, and you have some really wise people that I sit here with. And they
can I say one more thing?
Yes.
Black people.
Black
people. Black people.
Black creatives right here.
These pillows back here, your 5/5, your whole black people. Black. Do not let them bait you into coming out so that it can try to kill you.
Right. That's right.
I want y'all to understand going after HBCUs is about baiting us and trying to get, because they still say they're not showing up like that. Keep doing it. Because you can see they're trying to draw us out. So black people, y'all remember that.
Blackly black.
Blackly black.
Blackly black.
Whole black.
Whole black. So on that note, blackly black folks and everyone else is watching us and seeing and taking in this information. Get out there, breathe. That's so necessary. But we are not being drawn out into those streets. We are just going to keep moving, keep smiling, keep our joy, keep the joy centered in our hearts, and work behind the scenes.
This is my shirt.
Yeah, Elise on fire. Y'all better watch out. Even Mixie Black. Anyway, guys, take care. See you tomorrow. Later.
Even Mixie Black. That's right.
Mixie Black. Bye. Hello, and thank you for joining us today. Make sure you hit the like, the subscribe, and leave a comment on this video. I would love to hear from you. Thank you again. Until I see you next time.